Good morning. That's in the way here. It must be my coffee cup. Let me move that out of the way. It's casting a horrible shadow. So, welcome back. As you saw, my blog post is up and the dimensions are ready from last night's Thursday Night Live. And today we are going to create a fun fold card, and we are going to use the same stamp set that we used last night. And I have to admit, I had a completely different card planned for today, and I changed it this morning because I didn't like it. And I didn't show them last night, but here are all the dies for this set. We have the fence, and there's two different ones. One that you can stamp this and cut, and then a regular little fence, which we're going to use today. Bushes and grass. Here are the boots, a watering can. Here's the basket. Then we have little tools and the wheelbarrow. What else is here? Little birds. Looks like little partridges, which are really cute. So a really nice complete set of dies for this stamp set. Oh, and hey Karen, how are you? Yes, I am live. Hey Liara. I'm just sitting here thinking, I have to send you the B set. I forgot all about it. All right, so let's get started. We're going to start with, I'm going to use the same colors that I used, the Highland Heather and Basic White for the Designer Series paper. And we are going to start off with an 11 by 4 1/4 piece of cardstock, and it's scored at 5.5, but I also scored it at, I want to say 4 1/4. 4 1/4. All right, so we have two score lines, 4 1/4 and 5.5. So it is our regular card base. It's a sweatshirt. Yes, it's a Stampin' Up sweatshirt, a hooded, zipped up sweatshirt. It's chilly today. Rainy. It's rainy here. So it's scored at the 5.5, and then it's scored from this end to 4 1/4. And this one we are going to fold backwards. Okay. And what we're going to do is we are going to add some glue and glue this down. You can use tear and tape if you want. But I'm going to use some glue. And we're just going to adhere that down. Okay. Then for the front, we have a piece of Highland Heather, which is 4 by 4. And we are going to adhere that down to the front of the card. But before I do that, let me just make sure. This is 4 by 4 on both sides. And it is. All right. It just looks off a little. I'm going to trim this just a hair. So I'm just going to take a little tiny piece off. See, a little bit. I'm going to do the same thing to the Designer Series paper so it fits. Let's just check it out here. That's good. Okay. So before we add this to the front of the card, I'm going to take the Designer Series paper, and I actually took some, I want to say this is, let me just check here. It's the Granny Apple Green. And I cut or die cut it into grass. And then I took Mossy Meadow. I'm going to pull it out. And one of our daubers. And I just brushed some on the grass to darken it up a little bit. Because this designer series paper is fairly dark. Okay. So we're just adding some Mossy Meadow to the top. And I am going to adhere this down to the designer series paper, but I'm going to move it down because I want to be able to see the flowers. Okay, so I'm going to add just a bit of glue to the bottom, and I'm going to add it down here to the bottom of our piece. Just like that. And then we're going to trim it off, okay? But I want it to dry. Here's that little fence that I die cut with the die, and this is smoky slate. I'm just going to pull that down just a little bit. All right, and we're going to add that to the front. You'll remember last night I colored these kind of flowers, so I have another one. Here is the water jug. And then we have a pair of boots. I'm going to just show you how I colored my boots. And I'm going to, that's dark fresh freesia. I want light fresh freesia. I want light Highland heather. And I want dark Highland heather. And I'm just going to move this in a little bit. All right, so what I did first is I took my dark Highland heather and I am going to separate these boots because that boot in the front is going to create a shadow on the boot on the back. All right, so we're just separating the boots for now. And then I'm going to take the dark again and I am going to just flick some lines down this side of the boot, just like that. All right. Then I'm going to take the light Highland heather and I am going to extend this line out just by flicking some lines. And the same thing on this side. Now you'll notice it doesn't look like, oh, I don't know why the light is so crazy today. You'll notice that it does not really blend that well together yet. So we are going to now take the light fresh freesia and we are going to color in the boot completely. And I'm going to go over everything I just colored. This is lighter, so it'll blend everything together. So I'm going over everything that I just colored, just like that. Okay. I'm going to go back to my dark. And while it's still wet, I'm going to add that dark Highland heather. And I'm doing one boot at a time. Then I'm going to grab my light Highland heather. All right. And then I'm going to take the light Highland Heather again, and I am going to use the brush end if it'll work for me. Nope, I'm going to use this end. And I'm going to color in the boot again, going over that fresh freesia. Just going to bring it down here. All right, so now, I don't know why it looks like that. My camera is, there we go. Still, is it blurry or is it me? My hand looks fine. It must be the light. Let me see if I can change the light here. I'm going to do something. All right, let's try this. All right, so there is the boot. It's blurry to you too. I don't know what it is. Let me see if I move it down further. I don't know why it is so blurry. All right, so there is our boot. And I'm going to head back to this boot now and finish it up. So I'm just going to add another dark Highland Heather. A little bit of light Highland Heather. And then my fresh freesia over everything. I guess I'm going to have to adjust my camera settings again. And then we're going to take the light Highland Heather and color in the boot completely. And I like to just follow that line. All right, so there is our boot. I'm going to grab some white paint. And I'm just going to add a little bit for a highlight, if I can get it to work. And then for these pieces at the top, the strap and the top of the boot, I'm going to do in fresh freesia. Same thing with this. All right. And then I'm going to take a black magic marker and I am going to outline that and then just give the boot a black sole. I'm going to take my Highland Heather, the light, and I'm just going to go over that black. All right, so there is the pair of boots, and that's how I got this one. All right. So now that this is dry, let me just get my little cutter, and I'm going to line this up with the designer series paper right at the end of the blade. And we're just going to cut that piece of grass off. So now it is even with the bottom of the designer series paper. Now I can add it to our Highland Heather. I will have a blog post for this card. It won't be there till tomorrow though. I have to finish up cleaning my house. I'm getting there. I've been moving furniture, and that's what's taking me so much time. All right, so I want to add this little fence. Oh, I have to add a little bit of glue under that tiny little piece of grass. So I'm just going to add some glue to the paper and then stick it down. There we go. All right. So I'm going to add this to the front of the card, right in front of the grass. So I am going to adhere it with some glue. This piece is too thin to add dimensionals. I would rather pop it up, but there's no way. So I'm going to move it down so it's right at the end of that grass before it dries. There we go. All right, so we have our little fence. I'm going to move this down just a hair. Okay, then we're going to take our flower and we're going to pop this up. I want to just cover this end of the gate over here at the end. All right. So we have our flower. Now we have our boots and our watering can. Geez, why couldn't I think of that? Brain dead today. I also embossed some tools on silver. And those, I believe, I'm going to put into the inside of our card. So I want to add my boots. And I'm going to add the watering can. So I'm going to add the boots and the watering can just like that. So I am going to adhere the boots. Actually, we're going to put the watering can on the inside. And I'm going to add the boots right about here. And I added glue, but let's pop it up. That grass is making it a little unstable. I also have to make a phone call. They still have not picked up the furniture I put outside, which is crazy. All right, so we have that. Next, I am going to grab a scrap piece of paper. Basic white. What did I do with it? Here it is. So I'm just going to grab a piece of basic white. And I am going to grab the sentiment, every day is a fresh start. And we're going to grab some Highland Heather, ink it up, and stamp. Quick and easy. And I'm going to take the scalloped oval punch, and we are going to punch it with the larger side, just like that. I'm going to grab my stamp pad again, and I'm going to ink up the edges. Just too much white. So we're just going to ink up these edges. And you can make them as dark or as light as you want. we'll pull our card back in, and we're going to put this right here on the front of the card. And I'm going to pop it up, I think, instead of gluing it down. So we're just going to add some dimensionals. So does anybody have anything planned today? I know it's Friday, so it's just a normal day. All right, so there is the front of our card. Thank you. No, they didn't, Karen. I have to call them today. Our garbage hasn't even come yet. They're supposed to come on Thursdays, and they haven't even picked up. The company that we use was just bought by someone else, and they are terrible. All right, so here is, and I should have showed you, but see, here is the front of the DSP. Here's the back, and I'm going to use the back for this little strip, and I'll tell you what it measures in a second. Let me just get this on. Now this is for this section right here, and it measures 1 1/8 by 4. And before we add it to the front of the card, I'm just going to grab a length of ribbon, and this I colored with Highland Heather, and we're going to cheat, like I love cheating for our cards when it comes to ribbon. And it's chilly in here, so my glue dots are probably not going to stick too well. And we're just going to add this length of ribbon right down the center. All right, just like that. Oh, nice. That sounds like a wonderful idea, Karen. All right, and then we're going to add this to this section right here. Then we're going to take the card front that we created and add this right here. Make sure it's on there straight. I should add flowers right here, but I didn't. All right, so there's the front of our card. Let's just tie a ribbon. Now I'm going to add some of the little dragonfly gems or trinkets to the front. Unfortunately, the last time I checked, they were on back order, which is crazy. So if you were interested in this set, I cut my ribbon too short. And you were looking to get the whole suite of products, stamp set, dies, designer series paper, and the embellishments, you'll notice that it's coming up not available. And it's not available because of the embellishments. Everything else is available. And if you like any part of this set, whether it's the designer series paper or the stamp set, I would recommend that you order it sooner rather than later, because products have been selling so quickly lately. All right, I'm going to grab another glue dot, And I am going to add my ribbon up here. All right, so there's the front of our card. Ah, thanks, V. Now for the inside, we again have 4x4, 3 7/8 by 3 7/8. And all we're going to do is add these little die cuts that I had left over. Let's put our watering can in. And then, like I said, I embossed the little tools on silver paper. And we are just going to add these to the inside. Now, I don't like gluing my basic white down, so I'm just going to add some seal and layer up the basic white. Add some glue. Whoops. And add it to the inside of our card. All right, so there we go. Just something quick and easy, a different little fold. And I am going to see if I can't fix my camera. So, I'll be posting in the group over the weekend, but I'm going to try to get my house finished because I'm going to start painting. How crazy is that? So, enjoy the rest, excuse me. Enjoy the rest of your day. And if it's raining by you, stay dry. And I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.